got to recap a busy New Year's. First of all, Happy New Year, I suppose. We got to recap a busy weekend of football. First off, I want to start with the college football playoff. Uh, really, the games weren't that fun, James. I don't know about you.
No, it just speaks to the gap that we keep talking about.
Yep.
It's the 4 or 5 elite teams and everyone else.
I'm not even sure there's 4 or 5. I think there's 3.
It's probably 3. Yeah.
It's 3 really good programs: Alabama, Clemson, and then Ohio State. Then I think that there is a pretty sizable gap between Oklahoma and Notre Dame and Georgia.
It's exactly who I was going to say. Those teams, even like I agree, 100%. It's just, it's not good, man. This is why I don't like college basketball. It's literally I'd rather watch paint dry than watch college basketball.
Well, college basketball is just bad basketball, in my opinion.
Exactly.
College football isn't bad football. There's just a huge talent disparity.
I hate watching a game when I know what's going to happen, dude. I just hate it. It's not fun, man. It's just not fun.
Well, I will say this: the Ohio State game was very surprising.
Very true. That was actually a good game because it wasn't what you expected. Obviously, the game on paper was pretty shit because Ohio State ended up trouncing them. But that was actually a good game. Justin Fields looked awesome.
Yeah, I have to eat my words about him. I said, I think before the playoffs started, and we've been talking about the draft a little bit. I was like, I'm not sold on Justin Fields, and then he goes out there and balls out. And I'm like, all right, shit, I was wrong. Dude can play. Alabama, Notre Dame. Notre Dame ended up covering late. I actually fell asleep. I took like a 3-hour nap on that Saturday.
It was so bad.
It was a boring game. My parents were asleep.
The score didn't suggest what the game looked like. Everyone thought it was. I think it was like 14-0, and Alabama was driving, and everyone was like, "This is going to be 50-0." And then then Notre Dame did kind of neutralize it for like a quarter, but it was never close, dude. Never, ever, ever close.
At no point, the score might have been closer than people thought, and Notre Dame did cover. There was never a point in that game I was like, this game is getting away from Alabama.
Yeah.
Real quick, national championship on Monday. Do a quick preview here. We can do our picks later, but I'll be honest. I kind of like Ohio State.
That'd be sick.
I don't want to do it. I kind of want to be bold here, but I kind of like Ohio State after the way they played.
I mean, they're clearly hot, but it's just like, I feel like Bama, every game they played this year, they kind of had to like take their foot off the pedal so they didn't embarrass their fucking opponent. I mean, dude,
that's the thing I worry. I don't think Ohio State can keep up with Alabama.
I legitimately think they could have scored 70 points on Notre Dame pretty easily. If they were just like, we're playing all of our 5-star recruits, all 4 quarters, and we're fucking trying to score every time we get the ball, they could have scored 70 points.
I agree. By the way, Devontae Smith, first wide receiver to win the Heisman this week. What's that?
I've never in my life watched a game where one player that isn't a quarterback or like a defensive end popped more than that game with Devontae Smith. I swear to God, every time they threw a ball, it was to him, and he was wide open, and he did something crazy with it every time. Like, I'm a little wary of him because he's a little small, but I'm going to tell you right now that dude is going to be an absolute monster, and I hope the Eagles get him or Jamar Chase.
Hey, I tagged you on my mock draft this week, right?
No.
Yeah, I did. I'm pretty sure I did. If not, I'll do it again. I had him mock to the Eagles.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably going to take. There's a chance they take like trade back and try to get like maybe Patrick Surtain in the corner or something. But I think they're going to go Chase or Devontae Smith, whoever they think is more of an X receiver. Because I think Devontae Smith is more of like a playmaker, like let me get the ball in his hands type guy. I think Jamar Chase is more of like a number 1 wide receiver option. But I mean, Devontae Smith reminds me of Odell Beckham.
A little bit. I mean, they're similar because they're neither are that big. I mean, Odell might have a few more pounds on him, but Odell's probably only about 5'11".
Yeah.
Devontae Smith is probably it says 6'1". He's probably closer to 6 feet, but
he's probably 6 feet, like 180. He needs to gain about 15 pounds of muscle. He really does. But
that's what worries me a little bit because I look at Marquise, Hollywood Brown. People. That's what people know about. The knock on him was that he wasn't big, and he really hasn't performed all that well in the NFL.
I don't think that's because of him, though. I really do think that's a function of him being on a very pass-happy or a very run-happy
offense.
True. And him being dude, he's not a great person to play with Lamar Jackson. Like, Lamar Jackson isn't a precision thrower. He's a very small, fast guy. You got to put it in a very small window. And looking back in hindsight, I just don't think that was a great draft pick by them. Is all. He's a great player. I think, dude, if you put him in the right offense, I definitely think he's a 1,000-yard receiver.
I would agree. He's not going to get many touchdowns, but he would be a 1,000-yard and a receptions guy for sure, I think. Maybe not a receptions, but a yards guy. Something else I was going to bring up. I can't remember it now for the life of me. I know. Recap the picks. So for college, I bested you by 5 games, I believe. It was 175 to 1. No, that was NFL. Hang on. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up here.
Definitely take mine.
So I bested you in college picks 124 and 57 to 120 and 61. So I bested you by 4. Not all. That's one of my better years. I don't think it's my best one, but I don't think it's one of my best ones because COVID knocked a bunch of games out. So I could have.
This year was a little more difficult to even say in general. So
yeah. So let's get to the NFL. Where go ahead and recap the picks. You bested me in the NFL, and here's the thing. I was texting with you about it earlier this week. I finished the season with 170 correct picks out of 200. What is it? 260 something.
264, I think.
256. Sorry, that's the number. 170 is the best I've ever done. Like, that is, I think it's close to like 68%. And you were better. You were 175. Just crazy. I got a little obsessed with upsets from time to time, but yeah.
No, because you know what you do, Shane?
What's that?
So what I do, and I think it's a good thing and a bad thing sometimes, I just look at the fucking matchup, I compute it in my brain, and I say, who do I think's going to win just as soon as I look at it. I think you do the left go thing where you can almost talk yourself out of it.
Oh, for sure.
Because you'll be like, oh, well, like, they do this in this month or something. I'll be like, Shane, but they're a better team. Like, not going to be like, so I think you definitely, I think you're better at it than me. I think you were right. You talked yourself out of a couple picks that you normally wouldn't.
I've already tried to get some picks for this weekend for the wild card round, or super wild card round, I should say. And there are 4 I feel very good about, and then there's 2 that are kind of toss ups that I've talked myself in and out of whichever team.
But, there's a couple that I'm pretty tossed up on too.
We can get into that though later. Let's recap week 17 real quick. Overall, not a good weekend of football. Not at all. I want to talk about your Eagles, because that's been a hot topic of conversation.
Center of NFL controversy. I love it.
Controversy, as Pat McAfee would say. What do you think was going on? Because what does it benefit you going from the 9th pick to the 6th pick? How much does that benefit you? I don't buy that it was a tank job.
Let me say this. I completely understand why Giants fans are mad.
No. Giants fans do not get to be upset. Their team was 6-10. I'm so sick of hearing about it.
You didn't let me finish. So what I meant by that was, in general, I get why you were pissed. If my team, even if they had 4 wins, if I thought up until the last quarter of the last game of the season they had a shot, and then they didn't, I'd be pissed, just in general. But then I was going to get to, dude, this is literally the most overblown shit I've ever seen in the history of the NFL. I'm not saying that because I'm an Eagles fan. Bro, teams do this every year. They don't play their starters at the end of every year. Now, I get why people are like, all right, dude, the game was still in reach, and then you put in Nate Sudfeld, so that probably wasn't a great look. I think you should have just started Nate Sudfeld the whole game. But a couple things. One, Giants won 6 games. No team ever in the history of football has made the playoffs with 6 wins, ever. So you didn't deserve it. Number 2, I think that one thing nobody's touching on is anyone going to talk about how Washington was in a must-win football game and the Eagles were literally trying to lose and they couldn't win that game? The Eagles would have won that game if they played Jalen Hurts the whole game. It's like, you guys fucking suck. You suck. All of our linemen were out. All of our D-backs were out. All of our receivers were out.
The Eagles really weren't inspired at all. I mean,
dude, and then it was the just like, I think Doug was just like, all right, like, I'm just not going to fucking play our game hardest this whole, and he was expecting the Redskins to eventually pull away, and they just never fucking did. And it was just like, it was just dumb. I think that's so fucking stupid. People are talking about, oh, like, Doug's going to lose the locker room. Dude, no, he's fucking not. People are going to talk about this till the playoffs happen this weekend, and then it's going to shift away. Like, dude, this fucking team is in shambles, dude. The difference between the 6th and the 9th pick when there's going to be a 3 to 4 quarterback run in the top 5 and 6 is huge. It's fucking huge. We have a better chance to actually get traded with. We're obviously going to have probably our choice at the top wide receiver, which never fucking happens, or the top tackle. They might be able to get Sewell and have fucking 4 really good tackles. Like, there's so many more things they can do at 6, and it's like, this is the last thing I'll say about it. If the Eagles had nothing to gain or lose, and they did that, I get it. Dude, they literally put the entire team in worse position if they win that game. Why win the game? Like, for what? For what? For some fucking...
No, I agree.
No, because they're like, oh, it's the integrity. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up with that. Corey, you sound like a fucking baseball fan, dude.
You really do.
Shut up.
And I don't want to talk about the Eagles too long. The Eagles stink. But, I don't like this argument. I don't like the argument about integrity of the game. We have had a lot of teams tank. Like, and let's not pretend we haven't.
At the end of the day, all he did was put in a quarterback that said all week to play. That's all he did. He didn't set the whole fucking team in the fourth quarter. He took out Jalen Hurts and put in Nate Sudfeld when he said 3 times during the week, Nate Sudfeld will play this week, win or lose. It's just like, Brandon Graham and Jason Kelsey confirmed it, but yeah, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I think it's super overblown. You know how sports media is. They need a story in the middle of the week to sit there and fucking talk about all day. It is what it is. It's fucking overblown. Teams do that shit all the time, dude. There's no fucking reason to win your week 17 game if it hurts your team.
So let's move on to probably the game of the week, which was Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Very good game. Cleveland struggled with Pittsburgh. I mean, barely won. It took a last-second effort from Pittsburgh to... Well, I shouldn't say from Pittsburgh. It took a last-second play by Cleveland to win the game. When Pittsburgh wasn't really playing anyone, where Roethlisberger was out, I think T.J. Watt was out, and Cleveland still struggled. Now you got to go back-to-back weeks playing the same opponent. Pittsburgh's rested now. And Kevin Stefanski now has COVID, and I don't know if he can coach, but he's choosing not to coach at least. Yeah. At least this weekend.
They're fucked. They're done.
Yeah, this was a game. I thought that Cleveland might be able to sneak one, like if Pittsburgh was full strength or something, because I thought Cleveland was going to win regardless. But the fact that it was close, now they don't have the coach. Pittsburgh is rested. Back-to-back weeks, that's just tough to do in this league. I mean, I don't want to give anything away from my picks, but I really like Pittsburgh this weekend.
Yes, same.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. We were literally just talking about this before we got on this phone call. How we're like, outside, I don't know about you. Obviously, I'm cheering for Green Bay during the playoffs. I think you are probably cheering for Green Bay the most as well.
Definitely in the NFC. For sure.
Okay, in the NFC. Okay, but we both admitted there are 3 teams that we are openly cheering for in the playoffs. Like even myself. One is Washington. I'm going to be cheering for Washington because I love Ron Rivera. Dude went through cancer, doing IV treatments in the locker room. Like, you think you're tough. This dude's fucking going through cancer treatments.
Yeah, like, nobody's tougher than Ron Rivera.
Dude deserves a Lombardi for it. All right. Then we got the Buffalo Bills. I could not be happier. I'm tickled to death for the Buffalo Bills right now because I think they're going to have a great run here.
Me too.
And then 3 is the Cleveland Browns. Browns, I should say, as McAfee said. But Cleveland Browns, they might pull off an upset this week. I'm not banking on it, though. I really hope they do because I want to see that fan base get as much excitement and hype come their way.
I mean, dude, at the end of the day, it don't really matter who your coach is if you're running the ball well. So if they can establish the ground game and get a couple turnovers, they can win without a coach. I just don't see it.
I guess we need to talk about my Packers now. So I had said all last week, I was not worried about that game. People tried to make me nervous. It never entered my mind that Green Bay would lose that game.
I was kind of the same way. I never thought they had a chance of losing that game.
Me being the erratic fan that I am, though, when Marquez Valdes-Scantling dropped that ball that should have been his second touchdown of the game, I didn't panic. I was like, all right. Bears go down. I think kick a field goal, make it 21-13. Green Bay runs for 9 yards. That's why people were saying Green Bay's offense is stalling. It wasn't stalling. One was a drop pass that should have been a touchdown. The second drive, the very first play of the game, we ran for 9 yards and then threw the ball twice on 2nd and 3rd and 1. I was like, what the hell are we doing? Just run the ball. So then we punt. Chicago gets the ball back again, goes down the field, kicks another field goal. Me being the neurotic and fan that I am, I was panicking in that moment. I was like, oh no, it's happening again. So then, I forget what happened the next drive. Green Bay stalls, I guess. Chicago gets the ball back, I'm pretty sure, with a chance to take the lead. And looking back, it was so stupid. It was like that Jacksonville game. Green Bay never really was out of control. Chicago had one big play the entire game, and it was kind of a junk play. Darnell Savage, I'm pretty sure who it was, just read it wrong. Could have been an interception. Anyway, everything they were getting though was 3-yard gains. It was 2nd and 7, 3rd and 4. Then they do a 5-yard out for a first down, or come up short on 4th and inches, and then just sneak it, barely squeak out a first down. That was what Chicago did. Chicago did everything it needed to, honestly, to win that game. They kept the ball from Aaron Rodgers. They dominated time of possession. Defense played a little well. But I will say this: they didn't get, without David Bakhtiari, they didn't get any pressure on Rodgers, just about, which is a huge testament to our offensive line. But in general, they go down, then the 4th down stop. I was like, all right, we're in good shape. Go down the field, score, turnover, score again, ball game. So Green Bay clinches home field. I'm very excited. I've earned this. I've said this several times this week. I've earned this, James.
No, you have, and they look good, man. They're clicking at the right time. The road goes through Green Bay, which is not good for any other team. I can tell you that right now.
No,
sitting pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I already saw a tweet this week talking about how home field advantage doesn't exist this year. Teams have lost more at home, which it was only by one game. They won 127 games at home this year, lost 128, then one tie. I was like, it's one game, who cares? But I will say this. I agree, home field advantage really doesn't matter that much this year. However, it does matter at Kansas City. It does matter at Buffalo. It does matter in Green Bay. Tennessee, I don't think so. Washington, maybe a little bit. I don't think New Orleans with no crowd. Seattle with no crowd, no. But all these places have in common is cold weather towns, especially Green Bay. I'm telling y'all, I've lived in Green Bay in January. It's fucking miserable. Let's look. I looked at the weather earlier this week. I want to see if it's changed at all. It was like a high of 31, low of 21 this entire week. It's right now in Green Bay. It's 28 degrees. This entire week, the highest it's gonna get is 34 degrees. To next Friday. So Green Bay will be playing next weekend. Next Friday is looking like 28, high of 28, low of 18. This is what you're dealing with in Green Bay.
It's gonna be cold.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. The more I think about it, I think there's only really one team I'm worried about in the playoffs right now. And it's the team you've been harping on for the last few weeks now, and I'm starting to agree. I am a little worried about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
They are playing well. Now, granted, it is lesser competition.
I think even has a shot.
What's that?
Even a shot.
What's that?
To beat Green Bay. I said they're the only team I think has a remote shot to beat Green Bay.
Look, Washington might pull off an upset in the first round. I think they can. They match up pretty well with Tampa Bay a little bit. But I don't see them winning a road game in Lambeau. Alex Smith ain't going into Lambeau and winning unless.
Dude, they're not good. I'm gonna tell you, people will sit there and get. But listen, dude, having a great D line is awesome, but if that's literally all you have on the whole team, it's not gonna do that much.
I agree. Seattle can't do any. Sorry, what was that?
I was saying the Skins scored 20 points against this team that was trying to help them win.
So yeah, I'm not worried about Washington. I do worry about Tampa. Seattle right now sucks offensively. You don't believe me? Go look at their numbers. They haven't, I think, had more than 300 yards the last 3 weeks or something. The Rams are banged up right now. I worry about their defense, but Jared Goff and Lambeau, I'm not worried about that. Yeah. New Orleans a little bit because I think they can get after Rodgers. However, we just saw Green Bay go on the road and handle a very good Chicago defensive front, and let's not pretend that it's not, and only gave up 1 sack. Rodgers was pretty comfortable the whole game. So while New Orleans can get after the passer, I think we'll be fine. And then I don't trust Drew Brees in the cold.
No, not at all.
Then the Bears, LOL. Like, if the Bears somehow manage to beat the Saints, it is hard to beat a team 3 times, don't get me wrong. I don't see them going into Lambeau and winning.
Not at all.
The only team I am worried about is Tampa Bay. And there's a good chance we will play them in the divisional round, which is perfect for me because, I can't be nervous enough. I don't know. It seems like we are destined for Brady and Rodgers to meet in the playoffs. It seems that we are destined for that.
Tom Brady's coming, baby. Get ready for it. It's happening.
And I wouldn't even say I'm not nervous about it. It's just I'm gonna be a wreck.
Probably going to be the last great quarterback matchup for him.
Anyway, what else can we talk about? Well, let's go to the AFC. What team, since we did the same thing for NFC, what team do you think has the best chance to go into Arrowhead and win?
Bills.
I agree.
I don't think it's the Browns. So
the Browns.
I think the Browns have a chance because they can obviously run the ball. I mean, like I said, you get a couple turnovers, you establish the run, you run all game, you can win any game. Don't matter who it is. But I'm going to tell you right now, if Josh Allen has one of them 354 TD games, just that happens to have one that night, they can win.
Dude, I told you some of the, I don't know if you would call them stats, but those 2 texts I sent you today about the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
I'll share them later in the week, but holy shit, this team is on a roll. Like,
they're hot right now. I'm glad they had that little dip mid-season because I think it helped them. It was like a little slingshot for this little stretch right now.
And I know that you disagree with me, but I do firmly believe, like, Kansas City setting us up for a disappointment in the playoffs.
Maybe.
I just don't like where this team is. They're not good in the red zone. Like, and that's big. On either side of the ball, like, even with Patrick Mahomes, they've sucked in the red zone in their last 7 games, but last 7 wins.
You definitely don't want to be going into the playoffs going, can they turn it on? I get that, because they were saying that about the Warriors and shit back when they were at their power. You never want to be in that position. You should be playing your hardest every week. I agree. I still think they're winning the Super Bowl, though. Very well.
Like, I don't disagree. We could have a totally different attitude come not next weekend, but the weekend after, depending on how Kansas City plays. Like, if Kansas, because I do believe that, well, I don't want to give away my pick, but I think they have a chance to get upset in the divisional round against a team that will be named later. But if they go out and beat this team by 3 touchdowns, I will say, shut it down, this thing's over.
Yeah, it's over.
But if they barely squeak it out, I'm going to say, I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win and beat them in the AFC Championship game.
I can't wait for that damn game, man. I hope it happens. I hope those 2 teams play.
I genuinely believe we are going to get a Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl.
Dude, the Bills want the Chiefs, bro. You know they do.
Yeah. You know who else I think wants the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens.
100%. Big time. By the way, I know people like to sit there with the, running teams aren't going to win in the playoff shit, but the Ravens are hot, bro.
I don't think running teams can really win a Super Bowl. But as we saw with Derrick Henry last year, they can certainly get hot and get to the AFC Championship. And Buffalo. I got Buffalo on the brain. Been thinking about them all day. Baltimore is a team I do not want to play in the playoffs. Like, this is I think they're the hottest team in football. No, I'm sorry, Buffalo is. But Baltimore, though, is second right now. if I were a Chiefs fan, I'm begging for Tennessee to beat them this weekend. I do not want to play them at home.
Hold on. Say that again?
Sorry. I said Buffalo right now is the hottest team, but right now I do not want to play Baltimore.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Like, I don't want to play Buffalo. I don't want to play Baltimore. And like, I don't want to play Tampa Bay, but I feel a lot better about playing Tampa Bay than I would Buffalo and Baltimore.
Dude, I always feel better about playing a quarterback who can't run. I'm telling you right now. I know that pocket passers win like championships and shit, but in a given game, I swear, in one game, it's better to have a running quarterback. I think you can just make more plays ultimately.
Yeah. I'll say it again. I think Baltimore's going to make a run.
I do too. I don't see them losing first round again. I really don't.
Well, we're giving away our picks, but I don't either. Another team that I kind of like, and I feel crazy because we just hyped up the Buffalo Bills, but I kind of like Indianapolis. I think they match up pretty well with them.
Nope.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not like I will go ahead and admit that I'm not taking Indianapolis to beat Buffalo.
I just can tell you right now that Phillip Rivers is going to throw 2 picks in that game, guaranteed.
Have you seen the way that Jonathan Taylor has been running?
Yeah, because their O-line is fucking fantastic. Yeah, I mean, dude, there's good teams in the playoffs this year. They all got a shot. Outside of Washington.
Outside of Washington and the Bears, I think everyone's got a shot.
Not necessarily to win the Super Bowl, but to go on a nice little run, maybe make it. You know what I mean? I do think there's probably only 2 or 3 teams that can win the Super Bowl, or 3 teams. I'd say.
No, I think I think there's 3.
Yep, Bills, Chiefs, Packers in my opinion.
I don't see any other team in the NFC getting hot. They might upset Green Bay, but they won't. The NFC, if Green Bay gets beat before the Super Bowl, NFC's not winning the Super Bowl.
Green Bay is the NFC's chance for a ring. If it's not them, I don't see anyone else winning. It's going to be an AFC team.
I told you, those stats about or the history of not old quarterbacks, but the last time a team, or the 4 times I should say, the team won 3 straight road games just to get to the Super Bowl. Quarterbacks were young. Not good news for Tampa Bay and Indianapolis, who have very old quarterbacks. So I wouldn't bank on the Colts. I wouldn't bank on the Bucs, even though that seems weird to say because of Tom Brady. But I genuinely would not bank on the Bucs to make a deep run.
No, I don't think that's crazy to say, honestly.
I'm trying to think what else we can talk about.
Well, I'm home anyways. So
all right. Well, yeah, good timing then.
Perfect. So we're doing picks tomorrow, right?
Yeah, let's do picks tomorrow. I gotta wait. I gotta hold out like another 24 hours to see what happens with this Rams-Seahawks game, because there are some key injuries in that game. With Jared Goff banged up and Jamal Adams banged up. If Goff is healthy and Adams is out, I really like the Rams. If it's the other way around, Adams is healthy and Goff is out, I got to go with Seattle.
That was the game I easily had the hardest trouble picking.
I didn't at first. I was like, oh, Seahawks. And then like the more I thought about it, I was like, I kind of like the Rams.
Playing like shit. Dude, you're right.
What's that?
Russ is going to have to – I said they're playing like shit. Russ is going to have to go roll out.
And the Rams' defense is very good. Jalen Ramsey can take away DK Metcalf.
Yep,
and
I agree.
Dare Russell Wilson to throw the ball efficiently, and he's not doing that right now.
Agreed, man. Agreed.
All right, man. We're kind of a sloppy podcast, but I'll let you go.
We had to jump around there a little bit.
We did have to jump around. All right, my man. I appreciate you coming on.